Hello everyone. Wait a minute. Hello everyone. So now measurement of inflation. We are discussing now measurement of inflation. So there are two methods. Basically, price index are used to measure overall price level. What are that? Price indices. These price indices are very important. The price indices that pertain to all goods and services in the economy in the GDP deflector. So which pertains in GDP deflector? Okay, so the most popular fixed weight price index is price index. What is that? Consumer price index. So consumer price index is a price index computed using a bundle that is meant to represent the market basket. What is represent? It represent the market basket. Okay, so market basket like purchased by the typical consumers. The CPI calculated by taking into account price change for each item in the predetermined basket of goods and averaging them. The goods are weighted according to their importance, and change in CPI are used to assess price change associated with the cost of living. And second one is CPI. Sorry, WPI. Wholesale price index represent the price of goods at a wholesale stage, goods that are sold in bulk and traded between organization instead of consumers. So WPI used as a measure of inflation in some economy that is not for consumers, that is for the bulk things in the bulks. Okay, so in India, inflation is measured on the basis of both WPI and CPI. That also changed now. Even presently, there is a PPI is also producer price index. So there are three distinct series of CPI used. One is CPI in industrial workers. Second is CPI in agricultural labor, and third is CPI in urban non manual employer. Okay, so CPI of industrial worker is the most popular and used to grant of dearness allowances to the central government employee. The base year of CPI this is 2001 workers, and it is used for measuring cost of living of the common man influenced by inflation. WPI used for measuring the rate of inflation, and interestingly, distinction between the two of them, WPI is purely a commodity index and does not take into account service for measuring inflation. So CPI takes the services also for the measurement, but WPI do not take, is distinct for the goods only. So CPI include both commodities and services. It's for the goods and services both, but it's just for the goods. Services not include in the CPI. Okay, those the number of commodity covered by it is much smaller as compared to the WPI. Besides, CPI is based on retail price and hence capture the impact of prices of selected essential goods and services on the household budget. So it is basically CPI for the retail price, and this is for the wholesale price. So now inflation based on WPI equals to CPI U plus R is called the headline inflation. If there is a headline inflation, then WPI multiplied by CPI U plus R, urban plus rural, will be known as headline inflation. So WPI was being prepared on the weekly basis for many years. Okay, so it is being prepared on the monthly basis also. Before it was the weekly basis, now it is from 2009 it is monthly basis also. Even for food articles group and fuel and energy, it is being prepared on monthly basis since January 2012. So construction of WPI has undergone a changes from 2010. These changes as follow, like base year was before that 93 94, then 2004 2005. Now presently that is 2011 and 12. So this changes has been come in that. Okay, and number of commodities has been rise, like there was before that 435 commodity, now there is 66, and even now increase now. uh, I seen in news also. So number of commodities comprising the manufacturing commodity group has 3182 555 commodities in the manufacturing also. As many as 400 new items has been added mostly in the manufacturing commodities. Okay, and 200 old item also, and by 200 new items. So weightage of manufacturing commodity in the index has gone up 63% to the nearly 65% also. So weightage of primary article includes food article has come 22% to 20%. Weightage of fuel and light electricity are 14 to 50%, and weightage of manufacturing goods, that is 65%. Okay, so weightage of manufacturing is 25%, food articles are 20%, and electrical and fuel articles are 15%. This is the whole weightage in that. So number of manufacturing commodity in the new index has gone up to 318 to 555, and the number of primary article from 98 to 102. The number of items in the fuel, light and electricity, it is 19 articles. So these are the articles. Okay, so and compared to WPI, the CPI has much large weightage of the primary articles, like 57% primary articles given to the CPI, and WPI has just 20% weightage to these articles, primary articles. Okay, and seasonal fluctuation in the price of these commodities has relatively lesser influence on the WPI. So now base year 2012, it was like CPI with base year 2010. Now current base year is 2012. So now rural and urban both are included in CPI, and which is also prepared separately. So based on live major commodity group at present. So inflation in the India is structural as well as monetary phenomenon. In short term, localized demand supply imbalance also causes the inflation, and seasonal variation like production and coupled with the market rigidities, regulatory failures also affects the inflationary measures and expectation. So what is the outcome of monetary aggregates, money supply and interest rate, financial system influence the inflation also. So that's why other indices are there. Now we are discussing about the PPI. PPI, Producer Price Index. Producer Price Index measures the price change from producer perspective as against to the consumer price index. So which measures price change from consumer perspective. Most of the country have switched over the PPI from WPI. So in PPI only basic price are used for compilation, while taxes, trade margin and transport costs are excluded. Here here tax will be exclude, trade will be exclude, margins will be exclude, trade margin, and transport cost also will be exclude. And PPI is considered to be a better measure of inflation as price change as crude and intermediate stage, and can be tracked before it creep into the finished goods. Now real estate and housing price index. So next one is housing price index. Housing price index, it is also known the real estate. So rapid and urbanization and high economic growth experienced by the urban center in the last few years has resulted in upsurge in the property value. The importance of facilitating supply of affordable housing to the people and necessity of designing a right mix of policy initiative to encourage the house acquisition highlight the necessity of tracking the movement of residential house prices. Okay, so there is NHB Residex. This NHB Residex is what? This NHB Residex is the price in India across city and over. So National Housing Bank is launched a Residex for tracking the prices of residential property in the India. So covering data up to 2005 with 2001 as the base year for that. Now inflation targeting. What is the inflation targeting? Inflation target. Okay, inflation targeting means that central bank of country target to contain inflation at a certain level or within a certain range and use its monetary policy to achieve the target within a particular time frame. In recent years, there is increasing debate on the role of inflation. Okay, so that's why there is the phenomena arise. So measure to address the inflation, first is the monetary policy. Monetary policy, as we discussed before, like what is the work of RBI, tools of RBI, that is the monetary policy. Second is fiscal policy. Fiscal policy we also discussed in last lectures. Okay, and administrative and other measures. Administrative and other measures are important in fiscal policy also. So monetary policy measures, this include the quantitative and qualitative measures, rise in cash reserve ratio, repo rate, adopting the dear monetary policy and all that. And fiscal policy is reducing the non-plan expenditure. High non-plan expenditure by the government increase the amount of money in the hands of each individual. So thus there is a high purchasing power and high demand for the product. The product problem with non-plan expenditure is that it does not leads to the corresponding rise in the supply of commodity. So demand pull inflation will be there. Reducing the expenditure may contracted the rising inflation. Reducing the indirect taxes like custom, excise, high taxes leads to the rise in the price commodity and thus leads to the inflation. So reducing the taxes may help in the curbing the inflation also. And third one is the administrative measures. In India, it is always the use of administrative measures which have grown more effective from time to time, bringing about balance between the demand and supply, and thereby taming the inflation to the some extent. Like I in my first lecture, what I discussed about the demand and supply. So inflation control policy require demand and supply management, which is both about improving the distribution and availability rather than production. So as such, this administrative measure address the distribution and availability. For example, liberalizing the import of such essential commodity whose scarcity has resulted in the inflation. So this all about the inflation targeting. Hope you